What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Country Bassin. Hope you guys are enjoying these little how-to videos. Leave a comment down below on what you guys want to see. What kind of how-to videos, fishing videos, any ideas that you guys want to see me do. Just leave them down in the comments below. Everything you guys say is welcome, and I'll make sure to reply to every single one of y'all. But we're going to continue on Texas rigs. Last time I showed you guys how to set up a Texas rig, and this time I'm going to show you guys how to put your soft plastics onto your Texas rig. So for now, we're going to show you two different soft plastics you can rig up. One being the Senko, and the other one being a cross style bait. So we're going to start off with the Senko, and on this one you guys can see this side is a flat side. It's that's the side that you want to put the hook in. The other side is a little bit more pointed, so you don't want to put your hook in that side. That's the bottom of the bait. So you want to put it in the flat side. So what you do is you take your hook and your bait, and I like to use this little seam right here. It has two seams on each side where it's poured in the mold, and I kind of use that seam to help me keep the bait a little bit straighter. So what you do is you take that seam and you put it right at the hook, and you take your hook and you put it into the bait, in the middle of the bait, and you push down and you thread it on until you get to this bend right here. Once you get to that bend, you gotta stop. You stop, and then you pull the hook outside of the bait on that seam, and you pull it out, and then you have to thread the soft plastic on the hook until you get to the next flat part. I'm gonna pull this way a little bit, kind of show you guys this. Pull this bait back. So you got two flat parts of your hook. You have this first flat part and this second flat part right here. So once you thread it on, at first when you put it on your hook, you thread it on until you get to the first bend. So once that stops, you feed it out of your bait and thread it on until you get to this next flat part. So you push it up. So I'm at the flat part, but as you guys can see, my bait is on the bottom part of the hook. I can't, if I thread it on, there's no way I can hook my bait. So what you want to do is you push as you go on to this next flat part. You push and you turn. When you turn, your bait's going to be on top of the hook. So now, as you can see, I'll lay it down, and you can see that the hook is going to go in about right there. That's where that flat part starts. That's where that bend is. That's where you're going to want to put the hook, the point of the hook, in. So what you have to do now, I'm going to turn it this way. So what you got to do now is you take your bait and you get about where that hook is supposed to get into, so your bait's going to be straight. So you kind of just pinch right there, and you pull down. Make sure you're on that seam, so you kind of keep your bait a little bit, keep your bait straight. You just come straight out, and then you rotate. And so that's what it's going to look like on the hook. Let me pull the weight and the peg down. So that's what you guys are going to fish with. Kind of make sure it's on, everything's lined up. And so that's what you're going to end up fishing with. But as you can see, that hook is out. If it slides over something, it's going to hook it, it can be good. You want to fish it like this sometimes. But what I like to do is you pinch right beside the hook and you push up towards the eye of your hook, and then you just bury the point back into the bait. And what this does is it makes your bait weedless. So now, throwing it over into trees, throwing it in grass, it's not going to get hung up because you have that hook point buried into the bait. This does mean you're going to have to set the hook just a little bit harder to make sure you drive it outside of that plastic and then into the fish's mouth. That's kind of what you're going to end up with. Alright, Now we're going to take this off and we're going to hook up this crawl. And it's going to be the same thing. The same technique. This is the back side of the bait. As you can see, it has a little hook slot. So it's going to help you keep it a little bit straighter. So you take the back side of your bait, point it toward your hook. So you're going to take your hook and feed it right through the middle of the bait, all the way down to the bend. Once you get to the bend, you want to come out of the bait. Make sure, you want to try to make sure you're in the middle of the bait as much as possible. The straighter you put this on, the better your bait's going to work. So after you do that, you thread it on until you get to the second flat part on the back. And again, as you can see, the crawl is on the bottom side of the hook. Bottom side of the hook, the crawl's facing down, so you don't want that. So as you feed it up, you're going to rotate. Now my crawl is on the top side of my hook. And you do the same thing. You want to lay your hook to the side and figure out about where it's going to go in. Pinch right there and fold your bait down. And you want to do the best you can to keep this straight, because this hook goes a little bit past that hook slot. So you want to make sure that's as straight as you can in the bait, and you poke through, and once you get through the bait, then you just rotate, and that's going to lay that hook right on the back of that crawl. So right now that hook points out, so this is not weedless right now. So all you gotta do is pinch right beside the bait. In this case, you're going to pull down towards the eye of the hook till you get enough of a bend where you can get that hook point to drive in to that bait. Make sure everything's pretty straight. Make sure your pegs down there are good, where that weight's not going to move around. And that bait right there is a killer flipping bait. Just a Texas rig crawl, Texas rig Cinco. Flipping that onto wood, stuff like that, you're going to catch some fish. As you can see, that bait's weedless. You're not going to hook stuff, you're not going to hook grass, as long as you have that hook point into the bait. And remember, you're going to have to set the hook a little bit harder. So I'm going to give you guys an up close real fast. Oh, I got the bait rolling around in my hand. Alright guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button if you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out my other videos if you haven't already. They'll also be probably right up there somewhere. Probably right over there. But anyways, please check out those other how-to videos if you guys are interested. If you guys want to know exactly what I use, what I film with, what I fish with, all that's going to be in the description, so go check that out. And I hope you guys enjoy. As always, keep it country. Peace.